All right, you guys, we got another live stream. Please share, subscribe, hit that like button for me, and let's get started. Now, Charlie, you know, racist legacy and theory of a blood sacrifice. So now let's talk about this. Charlie Kirk, because the Charlie, you know, Kirk death is proof that this world is dead. Now, according to news, they had already zeroed in. FBI released an image of a personal interest in the Charlie Kirk shooting. Now, the FBI released an image of a personal interest in the Charlie Kirk shooting and offered $100,000 reward for information. The killer is still at large, but a high-powered rifle had been found nearby wood as well as a footwear impression and a forearm imprint. Now, Charlie, a right-hand man of President Trump, was shot at a Utah university, officials says. The suspect appears to be of college age and fled into a neighborhood. We are looking at footprints of suspected gunmen running across a roof, and here a recap of what we do and don't know so far. Earlier, 2 people questioned by police was released. Donald Trump says he will reward Kirk, the president, for a presidential medal of freedom. So it says the crime scene felt frozen in times when attendees belong still across the line, reports. So it says here, we are continuing to monitor reactions to the killings of Trump's best friend, Charlie Kirk. A U.S. Director of National Intelligence says that Charlie is one of a kind and a courageous soul who truly love our country. I'm devastated that we lost an activist. So today, Charlie had lost his life, and he left children and so many friends and family he had left behind. So the latest image, according to reports of a site of a shooting, the latest drone image from the site of the shooting at the Utah Valley University shows the area is still sealed off by authorities. So it says an FBI released image of a person of interest in the killing of Charlie Kirk left a lot of people shocked. So the investigation, according to reports, continue that bring you some of the details authorities share in a news conference earlier today. Our official says there was confidence in our abilities to track the shooters, and they had a good video footage of the suspect, as well as locating high power rifles. Our official says they have also found a footwear impression, a palm print, and a forearm imprint, which are being investigated. They also says they have tracked the shooter movement directly before and after the shoot. Earlier, investigator says they was working through some technology in some way to identify this individual, and if they are unsuccessful, they will then share image publicly with the media to help identify them. The official says they have already visited the neighborhoods where the shooter is believed to have fled through contacting witnesses and people with doorbell cameras. So it says Charlie Kirk death, what we do and don't know. For those just enjoying the page, the FBI have released the first pictures of a person of interest in the shooting of Charlie Kirk yesterday. Let's take a look at the latest developments. So it says, in the last few minutes, FBI and Salt Lake City released an image of a person of interest in the shooting. They're asking for a public help in identifying them. These are the first image law enforcement have shared of an individual they believe may be involved in Charlie's death. The killer is still at large. Two people questioned early by the police was released it. In a news conference, authority says the shooter appears to be on the roof before fleeing the scene at Utah Valley University. Authorities have also located what they believe to be the weapon used in the shooting and said the suspect appeared to be of college age. Here is a full recap. The identity of the suspect remain unknown. The motive, speculation on social media, is rifle, but nothing had been confirmed by the authorities. We still monitoring developments for our official tracking down Charlie killer. Stay with us right as we bring you the latest. So the latest they have a person of interest. And I just want to say the Charlie Kirk racist legacy in theory of a blood sacrifice. So this was an inside job. You know what I mean? I believe this was a cover-up. This could have been actually a cover-up. This is going to be something talked about. You know what I mean? I want to say this first of all, that Charlie death is proof that this world is dead. And the reason why I say this, man, because they do anything to have a government to cover this up. Because the latest, when we look at the latest with Trump and his Epstein files, the last time we looked at Trump was working for an FBI informant. You know, anything to cover up this. This was actually an inside job. You know, when I look at the history of Charlie, he didn't finish school. Like, he dropped out from, you know what I mean, community college. You know, he was appointed to be an activist. You know what I mean? He said some racial comments with, you know what I mean, with other political leaders, which I, you know what I mean, disagree on. So here's the thing I have, y'all. The big thing I have. That this was a right on white crimes. And you see these people rallying, hollering, you know what I mean? It's like, in other words, it seems like they're promoting this kind of violence. You know, and it's like, it seems like I was hearing white power. The people was just so, this amp, you know. And, you know, one thing I want to say this to you, fam. We have not done anything to have them be at an uproar. Now I can strongly believe that this gonna bring in chaos. You know what I mean? Like I said, when we evaluate, we see massive shootings here, police crimes on black people. So this don't have nothing to do with us because black people won't do such a heinous act. Now they have a person of interest. Now I'm gonna roll this clip. Hope you guys share this video, hit that like button. Don't cost you anything. And let's get started. Now, a lot of people assuming that this is not about race. I'm assuming that this have to do, you know, with the race that have been predominant. You know, the thing I want to say, fam, this was an inside job. And the reason I'm saying this because white people are furious that what's going on. We first of all, y'all, we got police brutality on black people. We got you got white crimes. Just as much you got black on black crimes. And we got, you know what I mean, a nation that's divided. And when you see Satan and his house is divided, you know, you start seeing his kingdom cannot stand. And when you start seeing a house is divided, we know that kingdom cannot stand because Satan and his kingdom must come to an end. So we have a political issue. We have a political issue where we have to go in to look at. Because the political issue we have, you know, white crimes, must you have black crimes. We have police brutality. We have Trump deploying the National Guards. I mean, this has to do with a predominant race. There will be more crimes happening in the United States if we don't fix this problem. Let's go. All right, you guys, press one in the chat if you can hear this live. Press one. I need y'all to press one in the chat if you guys can hear. You know what I mean? If you guys can hear this live, I need you guys to hit one in the chat. If you guys can hear it, then okay, I'm just gonna go on. So you guys can hear it. So press one if you can hear. So you guys can hear. You guys can hear. I just want before I get started, I want you guys to hit one if you can hear. Let's go. Look, look, y'all. I'm gonna agree with the comment section. Charlie is racist, and you got to think about this, fam. When Trump was assassinated, when someone made 3 attempts, this have to be a wake up. This have to be the. I think whoever did this was sending a message. I think that they were sending this message, you know what I mean, to you know what I mean, to our world leaders. This is a message, man. If a activist can get killed, this thing, I think I think the people are fed up. I think this become a political issue. You know, this become an issue where it needs to be sorted. It needs to be sorted out. It needs to be fixed. Because not only you see black on black crimes, you got white on white crimes. We got police brutality here. It's getting crazy. This thing getting crazy. I mean, activists. Yeah. He didn't have no degree. He didn't even finish college. And they appointed him to be a conservative, activist. And then he gets assassinated by his own people, man. This thing's sick, man. I think this is a message, man. I think this was an inside job, a blood sacrifice, and I think that this was a message. Because you gotta look at it, y'all. They're gonna be talking about this. They're not worrying about the Epstein file. They're not worrying about Trump was working for the FBI informant. Just look at the big picture. I want y'all to see the big picture, man. Trump is really trying to do anything in his power to get that Epstein case swept. Y'all don't see the distraction. He's deploying national guards into the blue states, some red states, but the most he's deploying, national guards in the blue states. So y'all gotta peep the play, man. Peep the playbook, man. Why you think these people fighting in the streets? Why you think we seen the looters, the looting? Well, the people been out here protesting, man. And people, looking at the laws, the Constitution being violated. Mammoth, the mammoth, rights being violated, man, to some of these people, man. You got some people it's not treated fairly than others. It's like different minority group of people is treated different. We not treated the same. Man, don't fall for it. You can't fall for the hokey jokey, man. I'm just reading some of you guys' comments. You can't fall for it because, you know, distracted we are, man. Now, you know what I mean? Do I promote violence? No. But it seems, you know what I mean, that a lot of people coming out saying, well, some people have their own, you know what I mean, opinions. Some people, you know what I mean, can process things different than other people. A lot of people think, yeah, man, he was racist, man. They feel he got killed of racist, you know what I mean, comments. You know, so it's just the same, man. When Trump was running, man, a lot of people wasn't buying. A lot of people wasn't buying it, man. His own people wasn't buying it, man. So I think that this, not only this was an inside job, but I think that this was a message. I think this was a message, you know what I mean, to the shooter. Now let's go. Well, I'm telling you, man, it just is the fact of the matter is this was the blood sacrifice. Anything that the government can do for cover up. Now the reason I'm saying this to you guys, they brought two people in for interest, right? That they already interrogate two people in the past several hours, and they had to release because they had a lack of evidence. See, we dealing with whenever we're dealing with hateful people here, we're dealing with a corrupted justice system, a justice system that have not been fixed, have not been fixed. Excuse me, there. We're dealing with police brutality that have not been looked at, and I can continue to go on. We're dealing with division where, you know what I mean, a nation that's been divided with hate. I can go on. Let me see some of these comments. I always tell you guys, don't pay no attention to my smoke detector, man. Please don't. But yeah, the whole thing that we see, y'all, it's a distraction. Yeah, yeah, it's worrying us, you know what I mean? But look, man, we don't have to worry, man. It's the see Satan wants the whole world to be worried, man. They got one agenda they focus on, man. This was the inside job, man. You mean to tell me you got all the secret, you know what I mean, agencies. You got all the CIA, you got FBI informant, you got police detective, Homeland Security, you got all these people. You mean to tell me that they couldn't track down the shooter? This is the best job that they can do. Let's go. Look, man, I'm going to say it like this to the 54 of you guys here. I understand no one deserves to die on politics. Y'all always want to make it think that I'm making this as a religion issue. And I'm not. Sorry, but I'm not. But I'm just saying the racial spurs, the racial comments he left are just some hateful things people say. Like I said, man, our grandma always told us if you ain't never got nothing good to say, please don't say it. It's some of you mouth is hot, breath hot, stinking, and you talk underneath that hot mouth of yours. Sad. It's sad. When I look at assassinations, you know what I mean? I look at like what happened with John F. Kennedy. Now, John F. Kennedy was assassination, a true assassination where here's a man that was running president in the 35th presidency. And he wanted to change. He was about change. He had a heart. You ain't never seen a president, since you've seen a president that had a heart for the mind of the people. And why do it be a big problem when you get someone in high office will speak in a favorable of the so-called Negro? See, President Kennedy should serve as a warning for anybody that holds true value. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated by outlaws, masters of assassinators. The same things you see today. But he spoke out in the favorable for the black man here in America. But on the flip side, Charlie Kirk spoke out on racism. I'm going to say something. If you're a true American, if you're a true patriot, you should be tired. If you are a true patriot, you should be tired. And I think white people are tired of seeing this fakeness of America. We tired of hearing lies. We tired of being lied to. We tired. This is nothing but an inside government job. I don't care how y'all look at it. But I told you guys I was going to be back. I was going to do just a little bit more research of this. But this was an inside government job, man. Let's go. Look, you guys, I'm not really trying to, stir up the, the tea, the cup. I'm not really trying to say that Charlie, was a bad person. I don't want y'all to, to shoot the messenger. But I'm saying the comments he left, the racial slurs he left, whether he was a good man or not. Here's the thing I have. Why was a person's life taken? And why, why they covering this thing up if they could already got to the shooter? You see, this is nonsense, man. Every assassination, attempt that Trump, that the President Trump went through, they tracked down the shooters. But you mean to tell me that a 31-year-old man, an activist, speaking at a rally, gets gunned down, and you mean to tell me that they couldn't track down the shooter? It just make it look obvious. Are they covering this up? Are they hiding something? That's the only thing I'm saying. Let's go.
Inspiring story from Janelle talking about being pulled from the rubble of ground zero and turning over her fear.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want and watch it take shape.
All classes canceled. They're telling students to return to their dorm rooms and shelter in place. Safety, our first priority.
Oh yeah, I agree. They're going to declare martial law. Till they get this problem solved, they're going to declare martial law. But the sad thing is, why declare a martial law? Because you're going to make things really complicated. Instead of finding a solution, and working on a solution, knowing that we have a political issue, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. I blame the President Trump, man. All started from that beautiful bill. All started for taking things away. When you take things away from the American people, all it do, bring chaos, y'all. It bring killings in the street. It brings, you see the looters. You see the robbery, the kill. Yeah, man. All it's going to do is going to bring chaos, man. Come on, man. Use your discernment, man. He's not finding a solution to work on peace when we need it. He's not finding that solution. That's why as long you continue to cause havoc, you're going to continue to see crimes, go up. This become a political problem.
They say we will continue to provide updates. A little bit of context here. We have heard of several threats reported.
He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must silence him with a bullet, but he failed because together.
Look, guys, do you actually think Trump looks sincere? I'm just saying, y'all. Do you think for a second that he has some kind of sincerity? Do you think he cares? Or do you think that this thing is bigger than what a lot of us think it is? I actually think Trump is really focused on hiding that S thing, because this, this thing people gonna be talking about, and then Trump, here's the thing I have, man. When you see Trump is working on deploying, when people are talking about, the military troops Trump sent it in Chicago. Next, he's gonna be moving, military troops over here and over here. It's gonna just get people to talk about. But the whole focus point, of the Epstein case will eventually, disappear if nobody talk about it no more.
We will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory, may God watch over his family, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
That was President Trump speaking from the Oval Office yesterday and talking about some political violence. We should also mention one other recent political attack, and that was one targeting some Democratic state lawmakers in Minnesota that happened back in June that the president neglected to mention in his video there. We do have more coverage coming up here shortly on the shooting of Charlie Kirk, the assassination and investigation. We're going to talk with Jamie Copenhaver, who's a former sheriff's detective and investigator, around 1:05. So we hope you stick with us. We talked with him earlier in our 11 o'clock hour about where things stood, and obviously things have changed quite a bit since then. So we're going to check back in with him coming up in just a couple of minutes and get his take on where things stand and where things go from here with that investigation. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more after this. So keep it here on Fox Local. In the meantime, get this view of the One World Trade Center, the Freedom Tower in New York City on this 24th anniversary of 9/11.
I'd do anything.
Oh, you itchy buddy?
You're in luck. Here at PetSmart, we have your pet's health and wellness.
Re-election in his campaign when he ran again for a third time, because they were able to get to college campuses and convince enough college-age voters, which is typically, as someone who was a former youth director for President Bush, the 18 to 29-year-old vote.
Well, from reports and particularly our own correspondence, things are tightening around the man who they think is the assassin. They are trying to catch him for killing conservative icon Charlie Kirk at a college event in Utah yesterday. It's not still been 24 hours, and the FBI is moving quickly now with some details and evidence that they picked up in the last hour or so. And it's revealing this morning that images of the shooter exist, and you can see those images on your screen right now. If anyone has any information on this person of interest, please contact the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI, and we'll get that up on all of our social platforms immediately. Authorities are saying they have been able to.
Now I'm gonna say it like this, fam. It don't take that long to capture a shooter. It just don't, fam. They wanna. It's like they wanna like drag this thing, man, so it could just be talked about. As long it can get people to talk about this. As long as people don't talk about the main issue, the Jeffrey Epstein, file. They want people to be that much, distracted so they can talk about something else. To me, I think they dragging this, man. I think that this was personally an inside job, and that the government is dragging this out because if you got the best Homeland Security, CIA, this shouldn't take that long, man. It should never take that long to capture a killer, man. Let's go, man.
To track the suspect's movements and have recovered the high-power rifle officials say they believe the shooter used in the attack. The FBI is confident it will be able to catch this person. Sources close to Fox News also confirm investigators are looking into what appears to be messages that are written both on the gun and the shell casings, recovered by authorities just in the last 35 minutes or so. Bill Mallusion has that part of our story. The content of those messages, though, is still unclear. At least they have not revealed them to us in the wider media. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-hosts, Emily Campagno and Kaylee McEnany. Also joining us today, Laura Trump, host of My View with Laura Trump, and Lawrence Jones, co-host of Fox and Friends. First, let's go to CB Cotton and get the very latest at Utah Valley University. CB.
Hi, Harris. Well, multiple sources have told Fox News about the messages that appear to be left behind on both the ammunition and firearm recovered from the scene of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So far, the FBI, as you mentioned, has declined to comment on this, but what the agency is saying is that they've got lots of good video of the killer's path on this campus.
We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time.
Agents say the shooter got on campus less than an hour before assassinating 31-year-old Charlie Kirk, who was visiting Utah Valley University in Orem, which is about an hour away from Salt Lake City. The FBI says the gunman blended in well on campus and appears to be college-aged. Agents say he wore all-black tactical gear as he fired off the fatal shot from about 200 yards away towards the stage, where Kirk had just started answering a question from someone in the crowd. After the shooting, the suspect ran off into a neighborhood, according to FBI agents who say they found a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a wooded area. Other clues were also left behind.
Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis.
The FBI is also asking for anyone with photos or videos to please share those with the agency. And moments ago, the FBI also released a new photo saying this could be a person of interest in this case. I know our show producers are going to work diligently to share that image with our viewers. Harris, back over to you.
Yeah, and we are putting up that image of the person of interest, CV, right now, and we will continue to do that. They are looking for the public's help now. They have obviously tightened their net around this suspect, and the public can be of immediate help just in cutting the timeline. They are going to get this guy. 800 call FBI, and the image that you want to keep, that we'll keep up on the screen as long as possible, is there too. We're also, and I'm kind of saying this to you, but also asking our team wider who's listening to flood our social media.
Look, man, Charlie death is a proof that this world is dead, man. America is a cursed country, fam. And it got every unclean person living in it, man. This is why it's so important that you turn to the Most High and not get distracted with so much, distractions. That's why you see confusion of the people. Why do you think the Most High God is trying to move the confusion out of us and put it into them? It's like, eat, America, help yourself to the desert, which you have prepared for us. See, you eat it now. See, all praises are due to God, the Lord of the world. See, he's only here to cause havoc, chaos. That's what he's here for. He's not here to make you have a better life while you're here. They can easily stop the violence and crime here in the United States. Why do you think crime's at an ultimate high? Common sense, y'all. Now, I want you to think and use your brain, use your discernment. When Trump signed that beautiful bill, what was in it is to keep us where we need to be intact. He wanted to keep tabs. He don't want you with a future here. He's making things to be where you don't have no use. It's look, he have no interest. And the people, the people here, they lose their minds. Learn how to have self-control. Learn how to be, vigilant. Learn, how to be sound mind, having a sound mind. Learn how to be humble in the midst of time. Because he's only here to cause his habit. The devil was not made to exist forever. He's not. America is a cursed country. And see, this is why I said she's like a cage for every hateful bird, a cage for every hateful human being. Now, if you follow her ways, you learn from her and follow ways, you're going to be just like that. A hateful human being. Let's go.
With this, all platforms are outnumbered right now as well. Lawrence, well, none of us slept last night, but you were up on the air earlier than anybody here on the couch. And this day has gone rapidly different than maybe some people had thought, and it's in a very good way. We're getting more information. We might be close to getting the suspected assassin.
Well, earlier this morning, there was a lot of trepidation for me in particular, even though a lot of people that I know and love and respect work at the FBI, that we hadn't got a photo. Because that's the first step right here in justice, is identifying who this person is so they can stand trial before the peers of this country with a jury. And now we have that photo. Our imagination based on the person who they targeted, Charlie Kirk, and since he was given a political speech, and since they didn't fire at the crowd, but they fired directly at his head, we knew it was political. Now we got the shell casings and other ammo that have political messages there. So we're getting closer and closer. I just hope that we're all zooming in, all law enforcement. You got to get this guy. Charlie was a representation of a movement of young people in America. And I don't care if you agree with his politics or not. We can't have that in this country.
You know, part of the excitement too around Charlie, and I was sharing last hour in the state of Arizona, he was being talked about in circles of people who were decades older than he. Can't wait till he becomes governor. Like, the people saw the trajectory of this young man. But part of the conversation was, could he bring the youth vote? Because young people may get activated and motivated, but until they go to the polls, that's the big difference. And he apparently can do that.
Yeah, he did do that. I'll tell you, as the former RNC co-chair, we worked very closely with Turning Point USA. What Charlie was able to do is really miraculous. When you think about the fact that he didn't finish college, he dropped out of college, yet his goal was to mobilize these students to really change the tenor on college campuses, and he was able to do that.
That says a lot, what his accomplishment was, his achievements was. Although he didn't finish, college, but he was able to work around, his college leads, work around students, and a lot of people can say a lot of things, man. A lot of times people can process things, like I said, different than other people. But who are we to pass judgment? What this man did, what he actually went through in his life. I'm gonna say it like this, fam. No one deserved to be assassinated. I just don't condone that, fam. A lot of people gets on their, YouTube channel, their platform, say a lot of things bad about this man. And there's now, in this world we live in, there's not a lot of good things people will say, man. There's not a lot of good things, man. Now, I can't sit here and say what kind of man he was. A lot of people think he was racist. A lot of people think he has some, racial spurs and comments he left. Like I said, people will process things different than other people, man. But all I'm saying, that you're not hearing this from me. I can't sit here and say, was Charlie a great man or was he a bad man? I'm not finna sit here and, I'm just going to sit here and say that this man didn't deserve to be assassinated, man, by his own people, man. You know, we have a huge problem, man. We have more than a political issue, but we have a political problem. You know, we have a real political problem.
We saw a huge shift in young voters this election in particular, especially with young men. Charlie played such a huge role in that. I don't think you can ever overstate it. I said this last night on Jesse's show, but I believe that Donald Trump probably wouldn't be president right now without the assistance of Charlie Kirk. What he has done and his legacy, I think, is even too big to comprehend.
And let me say something, man. Man, this man was, man, the way I'm hearing from the report, this man was, not only he's Donald Trump's right hand man, he got Donald Trump president of the United States. See, this was a motive. Fam, I'm gonna say it like this, fam. Wasn't Charlie a good friend of Donald Trump, and not just a good friend? Maybe they might assassinate him because maybe he was gonna run. Maybe he was gonna run. And if he was Trump right hand man, why haven't Trump made him his secretary? Man, this thing about to get deep, y'all. This thing about to get real deep. It's going to get deep, y'all. It's going to get deep. You know, what was his relationship with Trump? Not only people speaking highly of him, but they saying that he helped Trump get in office. Which say a lot. Let's go.
And right now, the void and the hole that will be left is enormous. And I'm just hopeful, as someone who cares about, this country and the forward progress of this country, that someone is able to pick up where Charlie left off. Turning Point USA is such an important organization. I'm personally very grateful for everything he did, all the work he did. And you can't go to one of those events without palpably taking in how impactful Charlie Kirk was.
Yeah, I want to get your response in part to what Lara's saying, because what she's talking about is more than a movement. It's a complete political shift. If you get a whole new generation of voters who have the kind of bravery to speak out that he embodied.
Yeah, Laura saw it firsthand at the RNC. I saw the data online today. A 44-point shift in Gen Z men over 2 years. How did that happen?
Wix gives you the power of AI to build the website you need. With full business functionality and a design tailored just
Charlie Kirk. That happened because of Charlie Kirk. And when I look at that image on the screen, I know we have to show it. I know how important that is for law enforcement purposes, but I have rage in my soul when I see that individual. And I want to tell that person, and I hope someone does convey this to this person someday, somehow. Charlie had a light in him, a special light. And you might have thought you extinguished that light, but boy, did you not extinguish that light. You set a raging fire that is here to stay, and it is a fire that is going across the world when you took that young man's life. I just want to share quickly some texts I got, because I've already shared my personal history with Charlie. These are texts I got from people who didn't know Charlie. One mom said, back to school night last night, was shocked and upset. He promoted free speech.
Let me tell y'all, man. If these people are speaking highly of him, man, he was a person that was enlightened, folks. He was an aspiration to his youth. He was a person that will enlighten people. Now, I think for some reason, this is why I said this was an inside job. Because they didn't want this man to grow, man. He's 31 years old. I see. Here's the thing, man. He was 31 years old. I just think they didn't want this man to grow, man. They didn't want him to shine, man. I think he was going to shine to be a president of the United States, man. He was an aspiration in his youth. So a lot of people say, well, he was racist and all this, and they saying something good about him. Not only he helped Donald Trump get in office, but he was a friend of Donald Trump. He was a friend of Donald Trump, and he was young, man. I think this was just an inside job, fam, that they didn't want this man to shine, man. An inside job that they didn't want this man to shine, man. You know how I was talking about, man, we need a new president. We need someone with come in with fresh ideas, someone that can talk about, you know what I mean, crime, violence, gangs. It's like people don't want you to talk good, man. See, we live in a time where evil is accepted. Evil is accepted, is respected, and then you look at it is accepted. And good in this world can't come in. See, when we look at the time, see, this is the time we live in. You know, crimes. We see murder and robbery. You know, kidnapping, rape. We live in this time where you have no political leaders that we have never found a solution. No matter, you know what I mean, we see Republicans, Democrats. It just never been a solution. And then we go back to vote, to cash in our vote, to put these people in office. And it's like the same things is like happening. The same things is like repeating itself. We go right back, cash in our votes, and the same things is repeating itself. Let's go.
He listened respectfully to dissenters. A mom from across the nation sent another text. I would find clips. I'd show them to my 3 sons. They would almost debate Charlie back. I was teaching them to have civil discourse. A father, I did not realize what voice he had with my kids and young people. Jim Jordan called me last night. He said his grandchildren say he is the Rush Limbaugh of their generation. And Chip Roy this morning shared with me a Bible verse his son sent him. And I think this is just sums up Charlie and sums up this moment. 1 Corinthians 15:58. He said this, therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Charlie's labor was not in vain, and you on the other side of the screen, you lit a raging fire.
Amen. 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 Let your labors be spoken of, and his work is spoken of. Rest in peace, man. If anybody won't say, because I didn't watch so many people talk about this, but I'm going to say, rest in peace, Charlie. Charlie was an enlightenment to his people. And this, you know, a lot of people may not, you know what I mean, agree, man. Because like I said, a lot of people process things different than others, man. But he was an enlightenment. You know, he was a guy that loved to spend time with other people. He was that encouraging. You know, and it's just sad, man. You know, a young man leave his children behind, man. It's sad, man. It's sad. No wonder the world's coming to to an end. It's sad, senseless, and sad, man. It's sad, fam. Let's go.
A Christian believer, an angel among us versus the devil. It is a spiritual warfare right now. Let's hear from Charlie Kirk a little bit. Let's watch.
No, this is why I said this. This is a spiritual warfare. When we don't wrestle when we don't wrestle with flesh and blood, when we don't wrestle with each other, but with the principalities of this world, the spiritual force of this nature in this world, you know what I mean? The principalities. See, whenever we up against a powerful people, and that's why I look, man. That's why I look when I look, and that's why I say I look at Trump. It seemed like It seemed like he's not very, you know what I mean, sincere. He have no kind of sincerity. That's that's why I think that this thing's may be deeper than what we think it is. This is why I think that this thing might be deeper than what a lot of us may think it is. Let's go.
I go around universities and have challenging conversations, because that's what is so important to our country, is to find our disagreements respectfully, because when people stop talking, that's when violence happens.
I've never seen someone do this.
Well, it's a growing trend because people like me are facing violence, assault, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa. I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats.
Okay, so what's your goal in this?
There's more people that agree with me than some people would actually believe, and they come out of the woodwork when I do stuff like this. We record all of it so that we put it on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
You're about to lose $40,000 for your car accident because you don't know this one trick. Check this out. It turns out insurance companies use AI to calculate the lowest amount that they can pay you. Our AI flipped the script. It knows what you're actually supposed to be paid before they pay it out. It takes 30 seconds. You only answer 4 questions. Then boom, you see exactly.
Such an incredible legacy that he himself said he wants to be remembered for his courage of faith. And that's all wrapped up with him unequivocally and at every opportunity advocating for peace and the civil discourse. 4 years ago, someone asked about if political violence was ever justified, and he said it is incumbent upon us to exhaust all peaceful options. And there was a figure larger than life that represented so much, saying, I've got death threats, I've been assaulted in public. It is heartbreaking that there was a success to one of those measures. That bullet did not just take Charlie Kirk's life, it pierced a movement. And I thought the same thing, Laura. I wondered, in this huge void, in this larger than life shoes to fill, who will step up? And then I realized that Charlie's legacy is empowering these millions of Americans that have been empowered with, charged with, and inspired by the concept that civil discourse and engaging, thoughtful listening and simply robust debate is the way to move forward, because we are all Americans at one time. And what breaks my heart in this moment is the loss for this nation, the trajectory he was on, and also that he did everything right. He did everything right, which was to espouse the benefits of peaceful, robust discourse. He was doing it all right. Even his fiercest critics applauded him for doing that, and yet he paid the ultimate price for it.
Well, again, we need your help. The FBI.
No, this is why I said Charlie's death is the proof that this world and society is dead. It shows that you know, the death, you know what I mean, of Charlie shows how racist legacy and theories of a blood sacrifice. It shows that no matter what you do as a activist, he was a person that advocates. He was just a person that enlightened, you know what I mean, his youth. Just think, just think how he was going to be a rising, you know what I mean, superstar. Young, 31 years old. He's not like your President Donald Trump. You know, there's a lot of people can say a lot of things bad, but I'm gonna say it like this, fam. I don't want nobody to say nothing bad about me if I'm deceased. It's always gonna be people say something bad about this. It's sad thing is we live in our world. People say something bad about you when you deceased, when you gone, man. When you least, when you least, you know what I mean. When you least, and when they think that he's not important or she's not important anymore, let's go and say something bad. This is the kind of generation we're living in. People probably don't recognize, you know what I mean? That's why I said people process things different than others, because people may not recognize what this man did. You know, this to tell you, man, we live in a world where people don't really have any, you know what I mean, any sympathy, man. It's sad, man. It's sad.
Is trying to identify the whereabouts of this person of interest. So please look at your screen right now. And again, we are putting this across all of our social platforms. So even during the commercial, check it out. Authorities say this guy is connected to the Charlie Kirk assassination. The FBI tip line now, 1-800-CALL-FBI. Tributes from both sides of the political aisle actually are coming in now for Charlie Kirk as we remember his impact across the globe.
To all the Gen Zers watching this convention on TikTok right now, I have a message just for you. We're going to choose success. We're going to choose to put the future of Americans first. We together are going to do the work to save America.
Hey guys, did you know some drivers are ditching their car insurance and they're doing this instead? Now the reason why you may be overpaying for car
Moving quickly now with some details and evidence that they picked up in the last hour or so. And it's revealing this morning that images of the shooter exist. And you can see those images on your screen right now. If anyone has any information on this person of interest, please contact the FBI. 1-800-CALL-FBI. And we'll get that up on all of our social platforms immediately. Authorities are saying they have been able to track the suspect's movements and have recovered the high-power rifle officials say they believe the shooter used in the attack. The FBI is confident it will be able to catch this person. Sources close to Fox News also confirm investigators are looking into what appears to be messages that are written both on the gun and The shell casings recovered by authorities just in the last 35 minutes or so. Bill Illusion has that part of our story. The content of those messages, though, is still unclear. At least they have not revealed them to us in the wider media. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-hosts, Emily Campagno and Kayleigh McEnany. Also joining us today, Laura Trump, host of My View with Laura Trump, and Lawrence Jones, co-host of Fox and Friends. First, let's go to CB Cotton and get the very latest at Utah Valley University. CB.
Hi, Harris. Well, multiple sources have told Fox News about the messages that appear to be left behind on both the ammunition and firearm recovered from the scene of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So far, the FBI, as you mentioned, has declined to comment on this, but what the agency is saying is that they've got lots of good video of the killer's path on this campus.
We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location.
Now, Charlie, you know what I mean, left, you know what I mean, behind wife, children, friends, his colleague, you know, and he left a memory on a lot of people. You know, this remind me, man, always remind me of the assassinations of presidents, John F. Kennedy, Abraham Lincoln, William McKinley, you know, and it's just, it bring a tear in my eye because this man was, you know, this is how I know this was an inside job, because this man was he was the next man up, man. We just don't take nobody's life. And it just shows you, you know what I mean, how weak, you know what I mean, our governments, our politicians, our mayors, our policemen, our justice system, the cultural system. It shows how weak the United States of America is, because it's just we don't never seem to fix a political issue, a political problem we see. It never be fixed, y'all. So our voting and things, at the end of the day, it don't even count if it's not recognized. If it don't get recognized. So why do we waste our time voting? To put people in office to think that they're gonna, you know what I mean, be in for the heart of the American people. It's like, it seems like every time we as American people, we put these people in office, and it's like bad things happen.
We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time.
Agents say the shooter got on campus less than an hour before assassinating 31-year-old Charlie Kirk, who was visiting Utah Valley University in Orem, which is about an hour away from Salt Lake City. The FBI says the gunman blended in well on campus and appears to be college-aged. Agents say he wore all black tactical gear as he fired off the fatal shot. from about 200 yards away towards the stage, where Kirk had just started answering a question from someone in the crowd. After the shooting, the suspect ran off into a neighborhood, according to FBI agents who say they found a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a wooded area. Other clues were also left behind.
Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis.
The FBI is also asking for anyone with photos or videos to please share those with the agency. And moments ago, the FBI also released a new photo saying this could be a person of interest in this case. I know our show producers are going to work diligently to share that image with our viewers. Harris, back over to you.
Yeah, and we are putting up that image of the person of interest CV right now, and we will continue to do that. They are looking for the public's help now. They have obviously tightened their net around the suspect, and the public can be of immediate help just in cutting the timeline. They are going to get this guy. 800 call FBI, and the image that you want to keep, that we'll keep up on the screen as long as possible, is there too. We're also, and I'm kind of saying this to you, but also asking our team wider who's listening to flood our social media with this. All platforms are outnumbered right now as well. Lawrence, well, none of us slept last night, but you were up on the air earlier than anybody here on the couch. And this day has gone rapidly different than maybe some people had thought. And it's in a very good way. We're getting more information. We might be close to getting a suspected assassin.
Well, earlier this morning, there was a lot of trepidation for me in particular, even though a lot of people that I know and love and respect work at the FBI, that we hadn't got a photo. Because that's the first step right here in justice, is identifying who this person is so they can stand trial before the peers of this country with a jury. And now we have that photo. Our imagination, based on the person who they targeted, Charlie Kirk, and since he was given a political speech, and since they didn't fire at the crowd, but they fired directly at his head, we knew it was political. Now we got the shell casings and other ammo that have political messages there. So we're getting closer and closer. I just hope that we're all zooming in, all law enforcement. You got to get this guy. Charlie was a representation of a movement of young people in America. And I don't care if you agree with his politics or not. We can't have that in this country.
You know, part of the excitement too around Charlie, and I was sharing last hour, in the state of Arizona, he was being talked about in circles of people who were decades older than he. Can't wait till he becomes governor. Like, the people saw the trajectory of this young man. But part of the
You see, could have had assassin because they saw how he was growing and that he was going to work to, to be a governor one day. Could they saw him on the rise and he was young. He had a young life ahead of him. People do despiteful things. People do hate things, man. Regardless of, there's a lot of people disagree on things, what he was talking about, what he was saying. But yeah, he was up on the, on the rise. And they saw, they saw him growing. It's just like, when we had President Barack Obama. They watched Obama grew from Harvard University. You didn't see it, they did. But in saying all this, you guys, I know some of you guys be tripping off my, on my little fire alarms. I tried to change it. I tried to send the people out to change it, but just don't worry about it. But and nobody came out. So I know that become an issue to a lot of you. I can't never go a day going live without somebody hearing it. So I just want you guys don't pay no attention to it. But yeah, get ready to close out shortly, man, because I got another live I gotta do shortly. So thank you guys so much, man, for tuning in. I'm gonna play the part where Charlie gave a good speech. You know, gave a good speech, man. So I'm gonna play that clip before I end out this live.
Will step up, and then I realized that Charlie's legacy is empowering these millions of Americans that have been empowered with, charged with, and inspired by the concept that civil discourse and did everything right.
Your help. The FBI is trying to identify now, and again, we are to the Charlie Kirk. Actually, are coming in now for Charlie Kirk, as we remember his impact across the globe.
To all the Gen Zers watching this convention on TikTok right now, I have a message just for you. We're going to choose success. We're going to choose to put the future of Americans first. We together are going to do the work to save America.
All right, you guys, for more content, please stay subscribed. Share this video. And thank you guys for tuning in. And we out.